The BBC has been told that dozens of workers at an East Yorkshire hotel are losing their jobs after asylum seekers started to move in. About 40 people are being made redundant at the Humber View Hotel near North Ferriby. And the Skegness Hotel says it's turned down an obscene amount of money to house asylum seekers. The Home Office says that hotels do not provide a long-term solution and that they're working hard with local authorities to find more appropriate accommodation. Jo Makel has been following the story for us, as you know, over the last couple of weeks, and she's here with us now. Jo.
Peter, thank you very much. Well, as we've been learning, hotels like Humber View are used by the Home Office to house asylum seekers for several reasons. The government says record numbers of people are coming to the UK. This week it was revealed 40,000 people have crossed the Channel in small boats this year. Well, when they arrive, by law, they have to be looked after. Processing centres like Manston in Kent are overflowing and there's a huge backlog. This week, the Refugee Council said its Freedom of Information request showed there were more than 120,000 people waiting for just an initial decision on their claim. Well, Hull North MP Dame Diana Johnson is the chair of the Home Affairs Select Committee, which scrutinises immigration policy.
The government need to deal with the backlog and they need to speed up the process so people are not in hotels and the taxpayers not having to pay £5.6 million a day on hotel accommodation.
Now, Home Office contracts are made directly with hotel owners, and as we've seen, this has caused concern for councils, communities and hotel workers.
For Khalid and Youssef from Syria, the move to East Yorkshire is positive. They told us yesterday they were in Manston for nearly a month.
What was Manston like?
No food, sleep down,
No bed?
no bed.
But the BBC understands up to 40 members of staff who worked at the Humber View Hotel have now lost their jobs. The hotel's running differently and they're not needed. Home Office contracts can make good business sense, especially over the winter in a resort like Skegness. Dee Allen runs Hatter's Hotel and told us about the offer she had.
Last year in September, we had a phone call from the Home Office offering us to take in some asylum seekers, 52, I think they said, and they offered us £10,000 a week. I'm not going to lie, it's a very tempting sum of money, especially with everything that's been going off over the past couple of years. But mine and my husband's morals, we wouldn't do that.
There's lots of residents here that don't want to walk out at night.
Those vulnerable can't get doctor's appointments.
There's been some strong opposition to the increased use of hotels in Skegness. People worry about services and tourism. And a man who's staying in one of the properties told us he's struggling being in the town.
People think we're enjoying the hotel. I don't enjoy in the hotel. I feel like I'm in prison, you know. So they don't let us to go outside to communicate with the people. So
the Home Office says hotels are not a long-term solution and it's working hard with local authorities.
Well, the Boston and Skegness MP Matt Warman and the Halton Price and Howden MP David Davis have both called for reassurances from the Immigration Minister that there will be more local consideration and cooperation on using hotels. An East Riding of Yorkshire Council failed in their High Court challenge over the Humber View Hotel. It cost just over £8,000 in legal and court fees. They've yet to decide whether to try going to court again. Peter.
Jo, thank you very much indeed. Well, Dr. Yasmine Shamma is an expert on asylum seekers and refugees, and I spoke to her this afternoon. Dr. Shamma, what will it be like inside these hotels that are now being taken over with asylum seekers?
The hotels that I've visited look like sad, tired waiting places. The refugees or asylum seekers will stay there for unknown amounts of time. They can't tell one day from the next. They're trying to kill time while also trying to tend to their families.
Will they be content that they're in the warm and they've got food?
I think most of the refugees and asylum seekers that I've spoken to throughout my work have been very grateful for the accommodation and hospitality that they've received. But that doesn't change the fact that they're living a life of limbo.
Because they know when they get here that they're going to be living like this for 12 months or upwards of 12 months. Does that encourage more people to make that journey across the Channel?
I can't really speak to the motivations of each particular asylum seeker or refugee, but what I can say is that the journey across the Channel is a very dangerous and fraught one, and that no one takes that risk lightly. And they don't necessarily know how long they're going to be waiting when they arrive. So it's less about the energy of destination or pursuit and more about the energy of escape.
What is the ultimate goal for them? You know, what do they want?
I think they want safety and to live a sustainable life.
They could have stopped their journey, though, a long time earlier, couldn't they? And that's what a lot of people have been writing to me over the last couple of weeks, saying, you know, they could have stopped in safety before they got here.
Not exactly. There's a lot of complicated rules surrounding asylum and migration, and people don't necessarily have the amount of choices that those who are free of those situations think they might. They're usually motivated by factors beyond their own control, and they don't really feel like agents in the place that they actually arrive in or in choosing that place.
And some people emailed me this week saying, we need workers at the moment, let them take jobs. I know this is complicated, but some people will agree with that.
Yeah, it's a very, work is a very complicated issue because asylum seekers, when they are waiting for asylum, do not have the right to work. So they are...
but what people are saying who are writing to me is, let them work rather than us pay the bill and then we get something back.
It's an interesting framework. There were a lot of really imaginative ideas put forward when the Ukrainian refugee crisis began, and I would be really keen to see that sort of imaginative and innovative, proactive approach offered to refugees from all countries.
Such an interesting one to talk about. Dr. Shamma, good to have you on the programme tonight. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Those last two questions prompted by quite a few comments by people over the last few days. Of course, we followed that story from the start and we will continue to do so. A woman in her